So Adventures of Elliot does look really cool. It's Square Enix, and it looks like they're going back to... They're doing another one of these 2D or HD 2D kind of games like they did with Octopath Traveler, or I think Triangle Strategy used it. But this time, rather than doing a strategy RPG or a turn-based RPG, they're going to be doing an action RPG. So this is going to be very similar to Secret of Mana, Legend of Zelda, that sort of game. So if you're into those sort of games, then this might be a game for you. So I'm going to have to make sure I check on my pronunciation here, because they throw a lot of words at you with some weird spellings. So yeah, so this game takes place in Philadelphia, which it looks like it should be Philadelphia, but it's Philadelphia. Philadelphia. I'm saying it right. So you're in Philadelphia, which is a continent. And this continent has been overrun with beast tribes. And if you're familiar with recent Final Fantasy games, that word gets thrown around a lot, especially in Final Fantasy XIV. Beast tribes are basically where you have your humanoid creatures that are representative of some sort of animal. You have like your wolf people, or you have your chicken people, or you have your lizard people. Those are the beast tribes. So anyway, this continent's been overrun with beast tribes. And you are living in the last human bastion, which is the kingdom of 𝙬𝙪. And this place is protected by a spell of safekeeping. So that's how humans have been able to survive, is they live in this one town. There's a spell that protects the entire town, so these beast tribes cannot get in and overrun it. And yeah, and they just live peacefully within this one city. So anyway, you control Elliot, and you control his companion, Fay, which is a fairy. So, you know, appropriate naming there. But what's interesting is if you're playing single player, you can swap control between Elliot or Fay, but you can actually also play with two players where one of you controls Elliot and the other controls Fay. And they actually interact quite a bit. So for example, one of the things that they show is where they can do this teleport where Fay can move to a certain position that maybe Elliot can't quite reach, and then Elliot will port to wherever Fay is. Or sprinting, it shows that sprinting, the way sprinting works is Fay will get behind Elliot and push him, because she gets the wind to her back, and so she's able to magically push him into a sprint. And from what I read of the reviews, they say that's actually really interesting, because it's not like a normal sprint, so if you don't do it right, you could actually end up shoving Elliot into a wall because you pushed him too hard. So it's interesting. So there's a lot of interaction between these two characters. I would be curious to see how well that works with two players. I could see this being kind of like an It Takes Two thing, or an Overcooked thing, where if you have a strong relationship, it's only going to get stronger. But if there's a little bit trouble, then that will come to the surface. But it looks interesting to me. But you can control it entirely with one single player, no problem. And basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be dungeon crawling like Legend of Zelda, moving around, checking out these different things, because somebody discovers some ruins that nobody found before outside of the city. So Elliot, being an adventurer, it's their job to go outside of the city and collect what people need and discover more about the world. He is going to be just discovering these ruins. And, as the title might suggest, The Adventures of Elliot, The Millennium Tales, this game is going to be taking place across 1,000 years. Now, I don't know if that's kind of Elliot goes in and he comes out and it's 100 years later, and he goes in and he comes out, it's 50 years later, or if it's going to be more like a Chrono Trigger thing where you're moving forward in time and backwards in time. Not quite sure, but yeah, there's going to be quite a bit of time shenanigans in this game. So there's going to be 7 weapon types. The ones that they show in the trailer are swords, bows, and the chain and sickle, which is like the Kusurigama, which is a weapon that we're seeing in quite a few things recently. But basically here, what it is just a blade at the end of a chain, and you can swing it around in a circle around you, so you just see Elliot walking around and nothing can get close to him. But you can also use it kind of Scorpion in Mortal Kombat with your get over here, and you can throw it out and grab an enemy and pull him towards him, and then you can finish him off with a sword or something like that. But those are only 3 weapons, and it says there are 7, so we are still missing another 4. You can also strengthen your weapons by equipping Magicite combinations, which sounds a lot like Materia, and this is a Square Enix game, so that makes a lot of sense. So some of them are just going to be boosting your stats. If you put a Strength Magicite on a sword, it's going to hit harder, but you could also put maybe like a Fire Magicite on a sword, and now when you hit enemies, they burn. So you're going to be able to customize your weapons a little bit there, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And it also has a block mechanic. So parry mechanics are in every single game nowadays, right? Isn't that kind of the thing? That's the trend, is a parry mechanic. And this one has one too. But it doesn't look like it's going to be quite as difficult as you're going to find in Wuchang Fallen Feathers or Stellar Blade or something like that. This is a game designed for all ages. It's a much simpler, just kind of like block. And if you time it, then it'll knock an enemy attack back. So if you've played maybe the Jedi Fallen Order games, Something like that. Like there, you can put your lightsaber up to block, and if they're shooting the laser, if they're shooting the guns at you, and you block it, it'll just bounce off. But if you time the block correctly, it'll knock it back at them. So kind of like that. Or if an enemy throws something at you or shoots an arrow, if you block, it'll just block. But if you can time it, it'll knock it back at them. So that looks really good. And also looking at this, it looks like it's a traditional kind of game. Everything moves a little bit slower, so it shouldn't be too hard. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't like that mechanic, maybe try this out, and maybe this one will work for you, because it's not quite as demanding, probably not as punishing if it doesn't work either. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, there is a demo available now on Switch 2. It is not available on any other platform, which is unfortunate. But this game is coming to every platform. It is coming to Switch 2, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Steam, and the Microsoft Store. So this is going to be everywhere, but unfortunately only the demo is available on Switch 2 at the moment. Go ahead, if you have a Switch 2, check out the demo. There's a survey you can take after the demo to give them feedback on what they can do between now and then, because this game will be releasing in 2026. So check it out, The Adventures of Elliot's The Millennium Tales.